morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining. At CIQ, we're focused on powering the next generation of software infrastructure, leveraging the capabilities of cloud, hyperscale, and HPC. From research to the enterprise, our customers rely on us for the ultimate Rocky Linux, Werewolf, and Apptainer support escalation. We provide deep development capabilities and solutions, all delivered in the collaborative spirit of open source.
What's
Rose,
up, Hamilton?
how are you?
What's up? Oh, I
Good to
am
see
I
you.
am wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
I have this annoying cough that I've had since SC, and I just cannot get rid of it. So if I have to go on mute, I'm coughing.
I will know why. We will all be with you for
Okay.
great health and energy. We'll just do a little clearing motion for you. See, all
I
better.
wish that would work. I wish that would work. I'm trying to burn it off with coffee. See if we can just kill it that way.
Oh, okay, that is one method. I like your style, man.
My chosen method.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, well, we are here today on this kind of a special numbered day. I'm not really a number person, but I do like when things kind of match up. You know what I mean? So it's 12/12 today, which is kind of fun. So December
12/12. I
12th.
didn't even pay attention to that.
Bum, bum,
Nice.
bum, 2024. I know. Well, you know me, I do my little journaling in the morning. So, you got to put the date on there. And I was like, oh, okay, special day. I like it. Okay, so what are we talking about here today? It's speaking of 12/12, we're getting towards the end of the year, the end of 2024. Yeah, I know.
We
It's
ran out of
wild.
time.
We're whatever you
Just
thought
ran
you
out of
were
time.
gonna do,
Oh,
it
yeah.
may.
Like that stuff I said I was going to do in January that I still haven't done. Don't
Are
laugh,
you a
Matt.
New
You know
Year's
what I'm talking
resolution
about.
kind of guy? Like, do you do
Not
that?
really. No.
Yeah.
Just one of those like, yeah, I should probably like, I don't know, start exercising again. And then I don't. And I'm sitting here 12 months later and I never did it. So, yeah.
Well, we went snowboarding over the weekend, and that was wonderful. I forgot what it's like to move my body as much as it requires to float down a mountain.
As long as you don't get hurt.
Yes, I know. I was really glad my son had his helmet on, which was good because he bonked on the little ice patches pretty rough. He's like, "Mom, I think I broke a rib." I'm like, "You probably did, man, but there's nothing you can do about it." So
Nope. Did you
hang
not wear a
on.
helmet? Rose.
I know. I don't know. I just never, it's so funny because in his mind, he was like, I can't wait until I get better at snowboarding so then I don't have to wear a helmet anymore. And I was like, no, no, what is the word where you get, where you're just old and this is the way you've always done it. So you kind of get
Yeah, it's
grandfathered in.
just, you're just old. I'm old.
You're just
You're not old.
old.
I'm old.
Seriously. It's like, I don't know. We were the generation of, no seatbelts and no helmets and no, whatever. Probably not a good thing. So wear your helmets, people. Wear your helmets.
Wear your helmets. I try to go way too fast. So I definitely wear a helmet now. I have hit my head a couple times. Wish I had had a
Yeah.
helmet on then. So I do.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Okay. Okay. Well, that's enough for this
Yeah.
conversation. Let's zip on to what actually happened and went down in 2024. There was a lot, man. All right. So we're going to talk about highlights. We're going to talk about innovations. We're going to talk about, of course, then what's new and what we're looking forward to in 2025. But so what was the first event that we went to? The first one I went to was Google Next. Was there
Google
one
Next. I
before
think that
that?
was really the first one of the year. There may have been something before that. If there were some smaller things, we had some Google C2C events that we had that were
Oh, those were
really
great.
right before those. Yeah, unfortunately, C2C folded up shop last week.
Really?
Yeah,
Officially,
yeah.
they're like, we're done.
Officially, they're done.
Was there a
Yeah,
reason?
too bad. Budget. It's all about budget.
Money. Show me the money, baby.
Money. Those events were fantastic. I'm sure they'll pick them up again. Somebody will. There were that community was huge. I mean, each of those events would have 100 plus people, so somebody will pick it up. And I'm
Yeah.
sure the event they had a lot of people that were running events privately. They were under the C2C umbrella in different regions, so I'm sure those will still continue on, just not under the C2C name. So, pay to see those people go. A lot of great people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving
Well,
right into
definitely.
next.
if you are part of that out there, then definitely give us a call when you are regenerating those events because we really liked those.
Absolutely.
Google Next, yeah, so that was pretty cool because our
That was great.
relationship with Google has been expanding, and probably the coolest, funnest, most interesting, I don't know, thing there was the conversations that we actually had with all of the engineers at Red Hat. So we were all there and it was just fun, right? We were like, business people can do what they're going to do, but we're all friends. Like it's all good in the hood. So that was kind of fun.
Absolutely. And we spent some time with some of them, a little bit different group, but some of them at reInvent as well. So
We
yeah,
reInvent was more recent though, right? That was just a couple
that
weeks
was.
ago. A
It
week
was,
last week.
gosh, what is this? Was it last week?
I
I don't even
think
remember now. The week after
so.
Thanksgiving. So no, it was first week in December. Was that last week?
Okay. Okay.
I feel like we were back for a week. Anyway, yes, that was recent. So that was another good one. We can talk about that one. We'll go in order here. Google Next was great. There were a lot of announcements, a lot of partnerships, growing that relationship, talking with customers, talking about marketplace, how we can work in the marketplace, kind of building that relationship. Michael spent a bunch of time with the FSI group. We had a nice financial services party that we got to meet a lot of the sales teams and a lot of the
Yeah.
customers, especially those around the Chicago area. So that was great. Had a lot of fun. Um, and then I think after that, it was the HPC and AI on Wall Street.
Uh-huh. Did you go to both of those as well?
I didn't go to that one. I think Forrest, I think Michael may have gone. I don't remember who went, but that one came back really well as well. There's a lot of stuff going on in financial services around Rocky Linux for sure. So it's been fun to watch that grow.
Yeah.
Google's been great at helping us in there. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yes. Cheers and thank you for that. What was the next one? All Things Open.
All Things Open. I think I was assuming All Things Open would be pretty small, but we had a decent sized crowd. We were there with the RESF team. So kind of
Mm,
working with them. So guys like Neil, Krista Burdine was there, Justin, Michael was there. There were several others. So that was a great event. Talking to, of course, a lot of Rocky users in the end and learning more about them. Skip and Nathan were both there too. That's right. So that was fantastic. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for being there. Thanks for going and talking with the open source community. I think that was a lot of fun for them to. It's always fun to get around people who are using your stuff. So those are great.
yeah. Just like a random question. How many open source projects do you think exist? Like, could you go on
Oh
GitHub? Is
man,
that the only place that they are, or are there other platforms? So many questions.
that's a great question. I don't know. There's a.
Yeah.
See if I ask one of these AI tools. Let them figure it out.
Speaking of AI tools, I was introduced to what's it called? Huggy Face?
Yeah.
Is that,
Yes.
is that
Hugging face. Yes.
Huggy Face, right? So if you go to their site, they have all these AI. I think most of them are open source. Some of them are not, but most of them are. All
Most of
these
them are.
different AI platform. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of them. That's just AI. I mean, I can't even imagine how huge the open source community is that's been doing this for so long.
So, as of December 2024, GitHub has approximately 195 million public repositories. Around 3.9 million of their are considered globally adopted open source projects. So, a lot. There are a lot.
Wow. Pick and choose your flavor, man. Whatever you want.
Absolutely. I knew it
30.
was big. I didn't know I had 3.9 million open source projects. That's a little bigger than I had assumed. It's
It's a
very
lot of
cool.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's no end in sight. So
No.
sky is the limit. People just keep on rolling. Well, that's pretty fun because here at CIQ, we have 4 open source projects that we help with and support. So we got Rocky, Aptainer,
Obtainer.
Werewolf, Ascender.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, thank you, everyone who works on those projects. It
Absolutely.
is,
And then
yeah.
underneath each of those, well, not each of them, underneath 2 of those, we're reliant and leverage Kubernetes. So I mean, if you look at the ecosystem, even underneath our projects, there are other projects that we utilize. So it's it's very cool.
That kind of
Nice
seems
to have
pretty
those out there.
standard, right? There
For
is,
sure.
yeah, It's like, okay, well, this and this, but it would be really cool if it had this. And then someone goes and creates it and, does their own thing. And then that branches off, and then this branches off, and then that branches off. It really is. It's really cool to see the community come together. I wish that I had gone to all things open, and maybe I'll just slide in on your coattails next year if we go.
I was
That'd
not
be
there
great.
either. So we're building a list now. Put your name on the list.
Okay, well, okay, I'm on the list.
You heard it here.
You heard
List
it here
keepers. Rose
first.
wants to be on the list next year. And then
And
things
then
like Werewolf being a part of Open
oh,
HPC, and Open HPC is made up of several projects as well. So I mean, it just keeps getting grouped together into more and more meaningful things building on top of each other.
yeah,
It's very cool.
yeah, it is cool. Okay, and then the last one, I guess on here as well would be reinvent. I think we forgot that on our list. Oh, maybe highlight. Okay, so
Yeah.
SC though, that was the one that I went to. This whatever, I guess it was this year. That was really fun. I mean, we had like a ginormous booth. We had Street Fighter, which is like hilarious and just fun. And it's so good to see people out there just having fun. But then we were also having like very intense conversations about some of the struggles and problems that people are having in their environment and how our various solutions could help them, and the pros and cons of everything as there are with all solutions, and how we can continue to work together to provide solutions that are valuable for our community and our customers. That was probably one of the coolest events for me, because it's the third one I've gone to. So it's 3 years in a row. And to see the progress of CIQ at this particular event was really, really inspiring.
I think it's great to watch people that may have come to us the first year to learn about what we are and who we are show up in year 3 and start actually seeking us out. They're looking for us to do something instead of trying to learn who we are. It's, I have a problem and I know who you are, so I want you to help me solve it. It's been fun to watch that transition from just becoming new to actually solving real world problems. Very cool.
Right. And then even cooler is when some of the people who are using these projects, whether they're customers or just users of the project, coming into our booth and speaking about what they're doing with that particular project. Probably the funnest one for me. I mean, all of them are great. But Werewolf really kind of took a shining star, right?
It
Front
did.
stage, at SC. So that was really cool to see people come in, and then there was just so many questions about what the capabilities are. And yeah, it was really exciting, especially because Werewolf kind of had like it was that's not the right word. What was it? Relivened.
There you go. Reinvigorated.
Reinvigorated. I think that was the
There you
word.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that actually started as a project, like 20 years ago?
I believe 2003. So yeah, it's probably been a little over 20 years now.
Over 20 years
Not to
ago.
date anybody that may have created that project or anything.
Sorry, our CEO, Greg Kurtzer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, same thing. It was like, hey, there's this issue that I am having and it's got to be easier. Let me try and figure it out, and I'll just put it out there and see people run with it. And they did. And it was probably like a year or so ago that it kind of got picked back up by the community, and the community has been building around it, and CIQ's been putting resources into it over the last year. There's been a lot of changes. They changed the code, didn't they? Didn't they rewrite
They
a lot
did.
of it?
So from version 3 to version 4 is very different. It got rewritten, taken out of the old Greg Perl bash. I think there was some C in there, and now it's in Go. So yes, it's a little bit of a different thing.
Yeah. Well, it was the same thing with Aptainer and Singularity years ago. Is there was a rewrite in Go as well? So
Absolutely, around the same time.
yeah,
Could be
I
some of the
love
same
that.
people involved with those projects. Thank you, Cedric.
A lot of the same people. Yes, thank you so much.
And
But
Ian.
yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
that's kind of one of the things that I love about the open source community is that the innovation is just mind blowing. I mean, coming from not knowing what open source was at all, like this is not something that I grew up in, right? Like that term didn't even hear until 2018. So it's like very new concept and idea. It's very kind of utopian, right? Like the
A little
idea
bit.
of it of like, yeah, like, hey, we're gonna work on it in our spare time and it's gonna work for your environment. And hey, if you have suggestions and anyone can work on, I mean, of course there has to be some structure, but just that idea of things being freely available and open source and other people working on them, it's just really fascinating and inspiring.
It has been. So as a consultant, I started, of course, everybody wanted to save money. So in the early 2000s, I'm not
Yeah.
going to date myself too much, but early 2000s, everybody was looking for a cheaper, faster, better way to do things. And they had massive, massive middleware bills. And it was very easy to go find things like JBoss or Tomcat. They could replace some of those really expensive, larger tools and actually get better performance. So it was a lot of fun to be a part of those communities early on and actually leveraging them in the enterprise. It was fun to see how far you could take it, how much money you could save. So I've been doing this for way too long.
Yeah. So curious, as someone who's in that world and has been for a long time on many different sides of it, do you donate to the projects that you use or enjoy, right? Because I know there's companies like ours that say, "Hey, we'll support and we'll do training and we'll do extra things on top and custom stuff." Obviously, you pay us because we're a company, but then there also is a donation option for a lot of these open source projects. Do you find that as a user that you do the donations?
I do. I typically do. If it's something that I find useful, just because, I mean, being a part of this and knowing I mean, people volunteer their time. It's nice to be able to help in some way with infrastructure costs, testing costs, whatever that looks like. I try to. Everywhere that I've been where we've leveraged it, I've tried to get them to as well. And then I've donated a lot of time, especially early on when I was trying to really working the JBoss side of things, really helping push and do a lot of testing because we had a big environment we could test in. So I try to.
Yeah. That's awesome. I find that as I grew up in the restaurant business. My family has restaurants and catering and that kind of thing. And I think I find that I'm a pretty darn good tipper, you know, because I really know, even if they're having a bad day, I usually tip pretty well. So
It's great.
yeah.
Helps
Yeah.
people
It's cool.
maybe lighten their day.
Yeah, exactly. I like it. Okay. The next one was reInvent. You were there. Tell us about it.
Reinvent. So from the size of the floor, I think SC was actually bigger. It's a little different though, because your reinvent's more of a marketing tool. And I think SC there's obviously the marketing aspect of it where people have booths, but there's also the research part of it where people are presenting their research. So it's a little bit of a different type of floor. Obviously, it's all big booths. The reinvent one, from a people perspective, I don't remember how big SC was this year, but I've been going to reInvent for 12 years, 13 years, back to when it was really young, if not in the beginning. And they said they were going to have like 62 or 63,000 people this year. The last number I heard was a little over 80,000 people. So it was massive in terms of number of talks they had, number of people just walking around on the booth floor was
Wait,
crazy.
did you just say 80,000?
80,000 people. Yeah.
Okay, so I just looked up SC24 in Atlanta had 18,000.
Okay. Yeah. So four times the size in terms of number of people. Yeah, it
I
just
can
keeps getting
imagine
bigger and
that.
bigger. It covers several hotels because they take up all of the conference facilities because they have so many breakout sessions, and that's really what it's all about. It's actually the learning path, and those are fantastic because if they have different paths, different ways to go about it. It's a great learning tool. I feel like it's got a little more marketing heavy, but it's still there's a lot of great content from leveraging what customers are doing, customer stories, and then how to utilize AWS's platform because it does so much and it's hard. I mean, they add features to that thing all the time. So it's really difficult to tell what's new, what's not. So those are great. And then just we had a lot of great meetings, met with a lot of partners that we kind of continued on with. We met new people. Obviously, meeting people who are consuming Rocky is always great. So there's a lot of things coming out of there that we're going to go work on. I think our relationship with Amazon just gets better and better every year. So I think we have JW spending a lot of time on that and growing that relationship. So I think this 2025 is going to be exciting from what comes out of reInvent. Very exciting. You can get Rocky as a workspace now from AWS. It's pretty exciting. If we have that on the list, it's very
Doesn't
cool.
Fuzzball currently run on AWS as well?
Fuzzball, our Fuzzball runs on
Our
AWS. Yes, we do so much stuff in AWS. We consume a lot. We also consume a lot of Google. So, yes,
yeah.
we do.
So
Yeah,
what's the
that's the
one
first
here
target.
when I was sorry?
That's the first target for an actual. If you want to consume Fuzzball and pay for it, it will be available. It's on prem now. It'll be available on AWS. Will be the first cloud.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting. And do you find that there were other cloud providers there, or is it
Always.
just
Oh no,
yeah?
they've always
Okay,
got a
so
Google booth. I don't know if you remember last year at reInvent that Google actually paid for all the advertising space and time on the Sphere. So at reInvent's
oh,
event,
that's
it was
hilarious. I
all
didn't
Google
know
ads. Yeah, that was kind of a thing. So yes, they are all there. Absolutely.
that. It's pretty common. I mean, most of our customers are multi-cloud.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I do think that we can all get along. There's different features, different things that they do, and
And
it's
most people are afraid of getting, I mean, everybody's afraid of vendor lock in. That's why open source is so popular. You don't want to get locked into a vendor, just like you don't want to get locked into a cloud. People
yeah,
may have a preferred cloud and they will do massive amounts of spend, but if you start digging underneath, they're probably in all of them.
yeah, yeah. It's okay. We can work well together.
Absolutely. We don't care.
Awesome. Okay. I think that is it for review of the events and things that happened in 2024. Now we're going to go into a little bit of CIQ products that we have released and that we are continuing to work on and that are very exciting. I mean, I can't even tell you how it's like one of the greatest things when you start to explain a product to a potential customer and they go, their eyes just get big and they go, yeah, that's what I need. That's I was gonna try and make it myself, but if you've already done it, good. I need that. So one of those is Ledger Pro. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we officially launched our version of Ansible AWX called Ascender last year, early on. It's a great way to do it. We've been pushing back into the community and building better ways to install. That's kind of where we really shine is the installation and the uh, just the stability of it coming out of the upstream. So being a stable version, that's been fun. And one of the things that we've been hearing for a long time around not just Ansible or Ascender or AWX, but it's really around the reporting around automation and how do you do it? How do you tell what's changed in an environment? How do you know what you have? How do you actually go back and verify who ran something? And the answer has always been to push it to other tools. And there are other tools out there that do a great job. I mean, Splunk is out there. You can go build Elk Stack. There's a lot of ways to do it. It's just another tool you have to go build and manage and maintain. And some of them are very expensive because the amount of data that can come out of automation can be a lot. So the bills can get very big very fast. And what we started to notice is it doesn't have to be that expensive. It doesn't have to be that complicated. We're looking for data that's just being driven out of the automation tool that we can kind of just parse.
Mhm.
And we went and built Ledger Pro. Um, Thanks to some individuals here and some great vision and listening to what customers were looking for, we can give you the ability to go look at what do you have in your environment? What is that environment actually doing? Who made changes? And not only show what changed from this host changed, but actually go into the file and show you a comparison of this is what it was before this automation ran, and this is what it is after, and here's who ran it. So being able to get really granular and tell what happened in an environment is something that we've been asked for a long time, and now we can actually give you. And you can go build your own custom reports. So if you have to deal with audit and compliance, and you don't like them, they don't like you, this is a great way that you can go just give them the easy button to go look and build their own reports and validate that what they think you have is what you have, and just work together happily. No more fighting for
You
data.
don't like them and they don't like you. I mean, it's like
It's just
anytime someone
misunderstanding, right?
right? I mean,
I'm
it's kind
asking
of
you to
like
do something that you don't have time to do.
it's like being a meter maid.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
gosh darn it, nobody likes a meter maid. It's the
They're
same as
just doing their
an
job.
auditor. Yeah, they
Just
are.
doing their
They
job.
are. They are. But like you're never really making anyone's day brighter
Oh, no,
as an auditor or a meter maid. So
no.
anytime that we could just make it simple and easy for them to get the information that they need. Yeah.
I used to work for a company and they would pull people out of departments for 1 year. They would give you the opportunity. They called it an opportunity, and you would go to internal audit for 1 year. And they found that because after a year, you hate your job so much that they would send you back to where you came from and roll people through just to keep people on staff because it was such an awful, like everybody hated you. So yeah, for all those auditors, you're doing great work. We appreciate
Bless
you,
you,
but
man.
I'm
Bless
sorry.
you.
Tough role, tough role. It's necessary and just not fun.
Oh, man. So how much time do you think Ledger Pro, if it was, in the complete infrastructure, I mean, I guess it would depend on how big and how complicated, but how much time do you think that that would save a company in auditing and reporting and
So going back just from the companies that I've dealt with and having to do this, I'm going to, just as an individual, it would have saved me months of time from an individual perspective. You put this at scale in an enterprise or a big company, I mean, you're talking man years, lots of time back
lots
from
of time?
the
Yeah.
interaction, the back and forth, the having to go fix things. Because the other part that you can do out of Ledger is if you find something that's out of compliance, then you can just have a sender go fix it. So instead of having to go back through the process, get somebody to actually identify the problem, somebody to identify the change, go through the change process, get the time to actually make the change, validate the change, test the change, you can just go do it. Just click a button and go do it. So
I
there's
what like,
man years.
literally I mean, I know it has to be set up properly, so, like, there
Sure.
is that,
Absolutely.
but, yeah, I mean,
But
this
that's
guy,
not
he's
man
saying
years. That's
yeah,
minutes. I mean, that's somebody
yeah,
knowing how to write
yeah,
a playbook at
yeah,
not long at all.
yeah. So I think these people, I mean, it's like weeks. Every 6 months, he's like he just runs around with his like freaking out for 3 weeks straight.
Mhm.
When literally, boom,
Done. Yes.
a button click. Okay, well, maybe it's like one of those people think it's too good to be true. You know what I mean? Where they're like, "How is that even possible?" But it is.
I think the only people that's really stopped people in the past of being able to do something like this is cost. It's just so
Mm,
expensive. And I think that's where we really help shine a light of it. Doesn't have to be.
doesn't have
We
to
can do
be.
this at scale in very large environments with not, I mean, people look around at their real estate and they see that they have tens of thousands of devices. We have people that are running hundreds of thousands of devices. I mean, we're
Yep.
talking high six-figure numbers of things they're controlling, and it's not breaking the bank. So
Yeah.
come talk
Yeah.
to us.
C- Come talk to us.
Absolutely.
CIQ.com. Okay, cool. Thank you for that overview of Ascender and Ledger Pro. And next one that was really big for us in 2024 that I think we had a little bit of like a late like, people actually need this was CIQ Bridge. With CentOS being end of life July 1st, July 1st,
July 1st.
2024. Yeah, it was. I mean, and they pulled it, man. They pulled it. They were
Off the
like,
internet, gone.
boom.
Midnight, done.
You no longer have access to this repo. It is
Talk
dead.
about automation.
It, seriously, it really jarred some people. And
It
then there
did.
was people who actually didn't know. Months went by, and it was just when they went to go, do an update or something. They're like, wait a minute, what happened? And so they ended up calling us. But yeah, we really thought that everyone was just going to move to Rocky, which a lot of people
A
did.
lot of people have.
A lot of people have, and it was a pretty easy transition. If you guys are still doing that migration, you need some help, definitely call us, ciq.com. Happy to help you with that migration. But we decided, hey, maybe people need a bridge. Maybe they just need a little bit more time. Maybe there's some complexity. Maybe somebody got sick. Who knows what happened? So we decided as a company that we were going to support. Support is an interesting word. So maybe I
It's not really
will
support. We're going to
support.
provide. We're going to provide
We're
CVE
going to
fixes.
provide some fixes and some patches and some love for CentOS 7.9 while people are doing their migration. So just for another 3 years total, we decided.
3 years total. So we're about 6 months into it now. I guess we are in December. So we are 6 months into it now. Took it about 2.5 years.
About 2.5 years. So yes, definitely happy to
And
provide
I
that.
know several of those out there are going to use that 2.5 years and you're going to wait till the end again. Please don't. Please just move off. Please do.
What's so funny is that when people go, well, I only need it for a month, because typically we do year-long
Yeah.
contracts. And it's like a month? You had a 4 years. 4 years. The announcement went out. And now you say you only need one more month. Okay.
And I have not seen anybody actually stick to that. Most of them have gone for the full year.
Most everyone has gone for the full year, yes. And
Yeah,
we're not
it's
quite
just
there
easy.
yet, but we'll see how many need to renew.
A lot. We're already having
Probably.
conversations with a lot of them. So yes, a
Yes.
lot.
Yes, yes.
A lot
Hence
of
why
effort
we're
to
like,
move.
okay, some people need migration help. So we're going to provide that too. So
Love to help.
yes,
Absolutely.
we'd love to help. Love to help.
Yeah, Bridge has been really interesting. We still find people that didn't know CentOS was going away.
I know.
It's wild.
I know.
But hey, guys, CentOS died in mid 24. So please move.
Yeah. Yes. And what's so interesting, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because, well, first of all, CentOS was alive and well for 20 years. So it only makes sense that most people that are maintaining those systems they've never had to think about it.
No,
They're with you. It just works and they carry on. But it's kind of, I loved the analogy of relating like your operating system to plumbing in your house, right? You
it's
know
true.
it's under the surface, but you never think about it until
Because it works.
there's an issue.
Till it goes away.
until until there's a block, something is going on. Then all of a sudden it is an emergency. So don't wait for the emergency, people. Call us now, get set up on Bridge, let us help you migrate. Let's get away from emergency land. Okay. So that was Bridge. Wonderful. The next thing that we would love to talk about is Fuzzball. Bum, bum, bum.
Fuzzball. Good old fuzzball.
Fuzzball. So we had a really awesome demo at SC this year. We were demoing Fuzzball Federate, which has been on people's minds for a long time now because the idea is awesome, but actually putting all the pieces together, I mean, it's no wonder someone hasn't done it a long time ago is because it's complicated.
It's
And
complicated.
it's complicated.
Very complicated.
Yes,
Security
exactly.
models between environments is very complicated.
Yes. But we have done it and we demoed it at SC. So you want to talk a little bit about Fuzzball?
Absolutely. So fuzzball, I think most people, if you've been watching this, you've heard us talk about fuzzball for quite a while. Kind of, we like to call HPC 2.0 or next gen HPC. So containerized workflow or workloads on HPC, still running at bare metal speeds, not running Kubernetes. So that platform we talked about, I think what really is interesting to people is what Rose was mentioning, is being able to have a cluster of clusters. So we have a lot of people that have multiple clusters, and being able to leverage those from an end user's perspective, same pane of glass is very valuable to people. And then also being able to leverage cloud resources. So if you have large data sets that live in AWS and you want to run your workload there, that's what Federate would allow you to do. And it just makes it very easy for the end user to focus on science and not focus on where am I going to run this thing? How do I need to set up my environment differently? What permission sets do I need to have? What data do I need to move? What do I do with my data after the fact? Federate makes that very easy. So it's very exciting to see that's coming to fruition, and that's really going to drive a lot for us in the next year of being able to actually go federate clusters together.
Yeah.
Excited.
All the clouds and all your resources on-prem, over there, over here. Okay.
I feel like we've been talking about like having a single pane of glass for clouds since 2012. It's just something we talked about forever, and it was really difficult. I think this takes it to a completely different level, and it's not just vaporware. This thing actually does what it's supposed to do, making it your workload run wherever it needs to work without you having to care. It's very cool.
Way cool. So we were also doing some early access type activity with, I almost said werewolf, which is funny, Fuzzball. And so we are looking for people who kind of want to come in and partner with us a little bit so that we can make sure that all the kinks are kind of worked out. Yes.
Absolutely. And that's really on the AWS side. So Fuzzball in the cloud. It's where a lot of people want to run it. It's where a lot of there are a lot of free data sets out there, and it's expensive to move around. So that's where a lot of people want to execute a workload for those specific data sets.
Yep.
So we want to talk to you. We would love to have you running it on Fuzzball so we can start working through and seeing it. We can do it at scale, but it's our stuff that we're working on. We'd really like to see it in somebody's live real world science. Really
Yeah.
cool.
Yes. Yes. 100%. So we'll be dropping a link in the comments right there. So if that is something of interest to you, and you can find it on the website as well, but the link will be easy. We'll just pop that right in the bottom there.
Absolutely.
Cool. Anything else about fuzzball?
No, I mean, love that people are using it. I think Kevin did a great job of talking about how Cindy is using it at the booth.
Mhm.
If we have that recorded somewhere, that's a great thing to go watch. They're doing some amazing things. Really appreciate them partnering with us and helping us. Looking forward to seeing how they can leverage Federate at some point in the near future.
Heck yeah. Very exciting. This is kind of our baby, right? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, fuzzball is, where CIQ got its inspiration to bring this to the world. So every time we take another step in the fuzzball story, and every time we hear people talking about what it is that they're needing and wanting, and then we're putting it together behind the scenes, then presenting it, it's just really exciting. So we definitely want to talk to you about fuzzball. Happy to give you a demo. Happy for you to be part of our early access people. Just really excited for it. So thank you, the whole team. Okay. So what's going on here? Recent community releases. Ooh, yeah. This is please share if you have not yet. Werewolf.
Werewolf.
There are a couple of reasons why werewolf is top of mind for a lot of people. One is that a couple of provisioners that people have been using for a long time are not being maintained or being changed. The pricing model is being changed. There are things happening that
Yeah.
are encouraging people to look for other options and alternatives. So,
Yeah.
was that
Werewolf's
delicately
future
said?
is very bright.
Well said, sir. Well said. So yeah, it's the thing about werewolf that's fun. I love when people talk about it. They're like, well, you know what? It does what you want it to do, and it does it well, and that's it. It's a simple tool. It's a simple tool. It does exactly what you want it to do.
Does exactly what you want it to do.
So for anyone who is unfamiliar with werewolf, what does it do?
So Werewolf is an HPC cluster provisioning tool. It just makes sure that you can have the right images on the right nodes at the right time. Makes it
Yeah,
very easy.
yeah.
Very easy. I think the one thing
And so,
that people get thrown off a little bit by is from version 3 to version 4, we moved away from having stateful compute nodes. So it's all stateless now. And I think people see that as different. It's not exactly what they were used to. So some people might shy away from it. I think the one thing that we've done by talking most of the time, whenever we can just talk through a use case, if you are really into having stateful compute nodes, we can show you and talk through how you're not losing anything by doing it stateless. All the things that you may do and that you think have to be stateful on a machine, we can still do stateless. You can still use local disk. It's not like you can't use it. A lot of ways to architect around that, but that's usually the one thing that people see and like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. Yes, you can, and we can help you through that.
Yes. Yes, you can. Awesome. Okay, so what about Werewolf version 4.5.8 that was released in October?
So I have not looked through the release docs yet, but I think I see here.
Oh, did you freeze? Like you totally froze. I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but maybe I'll
Wow.
read the note.
Now we're back.
You back?
We're back.
You back?
We're back. Can you hear me? Did you not hear me
Okay,
either?
there you go. Yes. Okay, you're back.
Interesting. I wonder if I had an internet problem. I have not read the release notes. I'm just looking at this one for version 4.5.8. Simplifies the WW init boot process for SE Linux and configures tempfs to spread the node images across all available NUMA nodes. I know SE Linux has been a topic of conversation quite a bit around in Jonathan's world for the last several months. So it's very exciting to see that one come through.
Yep.
Really appreciate it. It also improves the detection of kernels in the container images to more reliably detect the newest available kernel and to avoid debug rescue kernels. I think that was something he had a lot of fun with too. So
Yeah.
thank you, everybody in the Werewolf community. I know these releases are a lot of work and really appreciate it. Jonathan, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that I have noticed in open source communities is the need for documentation. As the work is going along, and bugs are being fixed and features are being added and complexity is being added and sometimes simplicity is being added, which is one of the things I did very intentionally with Werewolf, is to simplify it in version 4. Is documentation. So that's actually a place that in any of these projects, if you are interested in getting involved, that they could always use some help, is with documentation. Now, Werewolf is really good at it, kind of in comparison to some other ones that I am familiar with. They're really good at keeping up with the documentation, but it's always something that is needed. So just once again, if that's something that you are willing to do in any open source community that you enjoy and that you use the project of, they could use your help.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the first things that people don't like doing is
I know.
Freeze again. Is that me or is that you?
I don't know. It looked like you, but
Crazy. Sorry.
yeah, it's all right.
I'll try not to make weird faces so I don't get caught.
Yeah, right. Just
This lives forever.
I mean, the thing about documentation is like that's how you actually learn the best, right? Is when you're taking the information, you're writing it down. I mean, obviously there's other people that are going to look over it and make sure that it is how accurate. But that's like one of the easiest ways to learn.
Absolutely. And I think there are also videos, and I think we've done some talking about it. I think Werewolf, you're going to start seeing a lot more of that kind of content as well around how to leverage the tool. So,
ooh, speaking of which, I think we have like some special webinars coming up around Werewolf, don't we?
probably.
We do.
There's a
We
lot going on with
do.
Werewolf.
Okay. I know Jess will get it behind the scenes. Thank you, Miss Jess. So we have a couple of Werewolf. I think I want to call it like a private webinar, right? Where we're not going to be live here. It's something that you have to register for, but we're going to be diving into building out and creating clusters with
like
Werewolf. So
educational series.
an educational series. I like that. I like that. Wonderful. Yeah, that's perfect for the community, especially right now where people are looking away from other options and looking towards Werewolf. And they're like, hey, you know what? Like, let's just get in there. I want to understand it. Give me the basics. Like a lot of these system administrators and engineers, like they know what they're doing, right? Like they just need like the broad overview. Let's dive in. Let's get it going. So
absolutely.
Cool. Rocky Linux 9.5 was released just a few weeks ago. So I think it was actually at SC. Weren't we at SC? And
I believe we were at SC, and Neil and team were working as we were talking.
That's right. He was on the couch in the booth at SC. That's right. It was like boom, boom, boom. Hey, 9.5 has been released. So thank you for all of that good work.
Absolutely.
Okay, some notable features in 9.5.
Yeah, Podman 5.0 and some new release and new updates to Cockpit. So go check them out.
Yeah.
I haven't got to play with Podman 5 yet. I'm interested. I haven't updated. Kind of like to hold back for a little bit.
You just like to hold back? Oh, so
just Dotto releases are not my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't like Dottos.
Yeah. Too many kinks going on in there.
Probably not, but you never know.
You never know.
All my production workloads that I don't run. So who cares? But I'm still not.
I hear you. Awesome. Okay, what's the next thing? Apptainer. I mean, we are just full, man. It's sometimes overwhelming for people when they like, oh, okay, CIQ. Oh, I heard you do this. We end up having a conversation. It's like, oh, well, we can help with this. We can help with this. We can help with this. We can help. Like, it kind of seems like a little much, but it's kind of true, right? There's so many things that we are happy to help with. We have our hands in so many different aspects. Another one is Apptainer. So talk to us about containers in HPC and where Apptainers comes in.
There's so much going on in the Apptainer world and so many different features and people asking for new things. And that team is working really hard. You talk about if you're a developer and you're interested in containers, Apptainer could definitely use your help. I know Dr. Dave spends a lot of time trying to herd cats and get everybody on board, and those meetings are great, and he does an amazing job. Thank you, Dave. That is a lot of work. We know it. That's a lot of work. And Dr. Godlove for being involved with that as well. So really appreciate it. I know getting a release out is a lot of time and a lot of testing. So thank you guys. There have been a lot of upgrades and bug fixes throughout the year that just continues to go through, and they continue to knock through lot of just low hanging fruit and the items that people are asking for.
Yeah. Yeah. And the documentation,
The
which is
documentation on
great.
that it's amazing.
They do a really
Truly
good
amazing.
job. Yeah.
It's one of the best documented projects I've ever seen. Well, like if you can think of something you want to try, it's probably been documented and tried on their actual documentation side. Amazing. Group's done a great job.
Yeah.
Everyone should take theirs as the way to document a project.
Yeah. So that's interesting. How many people do you think? I mean, containers. ugh, I mean, it's just really amazing. I mean, that's one of the things that's really cool about Fuzzball as well is that everything is containerized, which makes so many things so much easier. So, how many people do you think in? I mean, obviously, Aptainer was really born for containers in the HPC world. So let's just kind of stick there for a second. But how many people do you think in the HPC world are not using containers? I think that's the smaller number than that are.
I think from the people that I've talked to over the last couple of years, I think everybody's working that direction. I think the only things that are left that aren't being actively containerized are older workloads. So stuff that existed that they just haven't had time to port. But I think for the most part, and this isn't true in every case, but most things that people are working on now are containerized.
Yeah. So if that is not you, if you are not automating and you are not containerizing, let us help you.
Absolutely.
We are more than happy to help you with whatever you need. You just need support and us to like be your hand in the background, someone to call. Awesome. You need us to come in and set things up, train you, train your people, teach all your people, get you guys all going and rolling. We are more than happy to do that. But if you are not containerizing and you are not automating at least something, then you are leaving time on the table. I don't know. Maybe you want to work 24/7. I mean, who am I to
Sure.
judge?
Hey, there are people out there.
There are
There
exactly.
are people
So,
out there.
you know, the home is not working out for you, you just wanna work, then, bless you. But if you would like a little more time off, then let us know. We're happy to help with that. Cool. Okay,
Well,
so,
Rose, we're being sped up because we've been talking for 46 minutes now.
we have, we
I didn't
have.
realize it's already gone. Yeah.
I know, we're just cruising. So, yeah, I mean, it's probably a good idea to just wrap up. I think we kind of went thoroughly into everything that we wanted to talk about, all the things that we're doing here and that we can do for our customers. Um, Maybe looking into the future now for a moment, looking ahead into 2025 and some things that you're looking forward to maybe seeing from CIQ and the whole HPC/AI world in general.
There's so much that happens, and that one went the AI world went faster than I ever anticipated it would. So I think it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. I think people are leveraging a lot of stuff that we're involved with for not as much doing training, but doing kind of augmenting, uh, leveraging models that exist and kind of adding their own stuff into it. So I'm anxious to see where that goes. And then HPC, I think everybody's finally coming to the realization that HPC is here to stay. And people are figuring out there's a lot of things that have probably been HPC all along they didn't call HPC. So there's a lot of collision of worlds that I'm enjoying watch happen. Putting workloads in the right places. And then from a
Mhm.
containerization perspective and doing fuzzball, I think fuzzball is going to be really interesting in 25. There's a lot of really cool workloads that people want to run on top of it. So I'm really interested to see where we go. Excited.
Yeah. So, Zane, just a little bit of a personal question. Are you a positive AI looking into the future or nervous AI looking into the future guy?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
I think it has a fantastic potential. I think it could also have a fantastic potential to do some not great things. And what I don't want to see is everybody become dependent on it because I think it can do some really sloppy things that are not the best at answering some
Mm,
questions. But I think from a getting you started perspective, I think it does a lot of amazing things. I've seen some projects out there around documentation that will just go help create documentation or kind of pull back through old documentation, so you can actually go back through and see and track changes throughout documentation that you may not have known were there before. Just at large data sets. Think about enterprise
Mhm.
across 20 years. There's a lot of things that it can do and look at. I'm interested to see how that helps, because I think there's always going to be a gap in documentation. So I think it can help in that perspective in the world would be great. And then I don't know, it helps me get going. It helps me just get started on things. Something you just sit down and you're like, I don't know where to begin. I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me an outline of this
Yeah.
idea. This 3 words in my brain, like, tell me one
Yes.
paragraph, get me started. Yeah, it is. It's
Just make sure you go back and reread the paragraph. don't just take the paragraph for whatever it spits out, please.
My son failed. Sorry, son. Sorry. He
I can
failed the
call him
class
out publicly. No
straight
way.
from Chat GPT to his homework assignment, and they were like, "Yeah, no, sir, that's a no." He's like, "Mom, what do I need to know poetry for? I'm never gonna write poetry." I'm like, "That's fair,
Yeah.
honey, but just learn to edit properly, son. Learn to edit properly." Anyway, yes, that is
I'm
a
not a poet either,
lesson.
but I seem to remember a very specific day when I answered everything in poetry just because it was annoying to everybody.
You
Totally on
know it.
ChatGPT, by the
I
way.
was there. You did
Yeah,
do
you were
that.
there.
That
You
was
remember that
annoying.
day. It was so annoying. That's what made it so great.
Oh,
Yep.
man. Apparently, the annoyance of poetry runs in the family over here. That is so
Must.
funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, AI is an interesting thing. Looking forward, I was listening to some guy talk about AI, and of course, he brought it back to, listen, it's people are making this. So, yes, human beings can sometimes have a tendency to go in a really positive way, sometimes in a really negative way. But remember, it's still people behind this. So being thoughtful and intentional. And, he was talking about all the jobs that are going to be, replaced with AI type stuff. But he said, what's interesting? Even if all of that happens, fine. But what's really going to become valuable is the human touch. Right, meeting, like actually meeting in person, doing classes and webinars and talks and conferences, and we're gonna like, he was describing kind of like the wave or the cyclical motion of when things change. And I really liked that aspect, right? It's like, yeah, a lot of things are going to be taken away, but there's nothing that's going to be quite as important as having an actual conversation and just like that guttural laughter with another human being and talking about ideas, and then using AI stuff to like fix problems, and then back to the conversation and the experience. So I really dug that. And that's actually a really nice segue into um, as we started the conversation about all the um conferences that we went to and how they were valuable. This is how those sorts of experiences become valuable. And we see that, right? It's like if we're talking to someone, even on Zoom or email, back and forth, that kind of stuff, it's different when you get in person. It's different
It
to
is.
shake someone's hand, have a conversation, and know if you can trust that person to move forward with them or not.
Absolutely. It has been interesting over
Mhm.
the last 4 years, 5 years, since COVID, of trying to build relationships with people over Zoom only. It
Yeah,
just it just takes longer.
it does. It
Just
takes
takes
longer, and
longer.
there's something a little bit missing. So that does lead me into where we're gonna be next. Google Next is coming up in April. It's right around the corner. We actually already have our booth number. So we're gonna be at booth
Wow.
2890 for Google Next. Wait, is it in the same place? Like, is it always in Vegas?
It's in Vegas. I don't remember if it's the same hotel. I feel like that conference center, didn't they tear it down
I
right
don't
after we
know.
walked out?
I'd like to have my room in a different hotel, please. Whatever
You
one
don't
I
like
went
carrying
last.
stuff for 25 miles?
Dude, seriously, the hallway itself was a mile and a half long. Every time I had to go to my room, that was wild, but it was definitely a lot of fun, and I hope I get to go to that conference as well. It is important to meet with y'all in the flesh.
I'm
Are you looking
looking.
it
What
up
is
now?
this not? I'm trying to.
Oh, Mandalay Bay. Wow, dang. See, we got important people behind the scenes here.
That's where it was
Mandalay
last time,
Bay.
right?
I think so. I
Yeah.
don't
At
remember.
the very end. Yeah. Well, we'll make sure and Get everything there prior and not carry 55 boxes every day.
That's right. That's right. 100%. Thank you, sir.
Yes, that was
And
awful.
we're bringing Jess with us too, by the way, Miss Jess.
Yeah,
You're coming
absolutely.
along. Yeah.
And you're not
Don't
carrying
trust me
boxes
with all those
either.
boxes. Exactly.
No.
Oh man, we do have a good time. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful webinar. Did a little recap of 2024, looking into 2025. And there's a lot going on at CIQ. So if you want to come chat with us, you need help with anything that you are doing from migration to automation, your operating system, you need help with your provisioner, containers, we do it all. And we're happy to chat with you. So come see us at ciq.com. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your holiday month. Wow.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.